And now we read the shir of Heya. V'hine. Midas chesed zu. This madrega of chesed, which is bligavul and there's no limit and no measure. Nikrav al shmei shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu carries Eibish's name, chaste havaya. The kanyas of havaya is opposed to the kanyas of olam. The pasuk says, "V'chesed havaya," the infinite kanyas of Eibish me'elam adeva v'chuli. It goes from one world to another, which I suppose means it's higher than the world, or it comes into the world. Like the Alter Rebbe ki agam, even though she called yourself the Jewish people b'chlal him rachmanim v'geim li'achasadim, they're compassionate and generous. Baram, however, yesh gevul u'mida l'rachmei ha'adam, the compassions of man are always measured, always limited and always measured. Aval HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nikrein Tzal Baruch Hu, the Eibush is infinite. Ulamidei Sevein Tzal, the Mitzvah is also infinite, like the Eibush, the Alter Rebbe said in Shaliach V'amun and the later Prakim. Kediksiv Kelei Kol Racham Avagim, the Eibush's kindness doesn't have an end, the Eibush's compassion doesn't have an end, so when a person gives chesed, an Eifin of Beligavul, this is not called chesed el, this is called chesed avai. So the Alter Rebbe is of course proposing that when a person has to do tshuva, there's Eifin Tzedakah, which is Beligavul, and you should know that this is Yeres HaKedesh, in the Igris, that I showed you last week. In Alter Rebbe's Igris, this Yeres HaKedesh is a time and a half the size that it is over here. And in that other shtickle that the Rebbe is talking about, the Tzedakah of Eretz Yisrael, he says, I borrowed money to support them, and that's why I'm asking you to help me pay the bills. And as I invited, but Alter Rebbe went to talk even from the Sirius Nefesh. Bepeil Mamish. When it is gemont from seine Chassidim as well. Alter Rebbe now goes back to the pasuk with which he started this Yeres HaKedesh. Which is why the Navi says, Achar HaChurban V'Agol, after the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed and Yidden went into Golos, Chaste Havaya Kilei Tamlu V'Gem. It doesn't say Chesed Eilim, it says the Chesed of Havaya. The Bligvul Chesed of the Eibishter. Kilei Tamlu, they never finish and so forth. Okay? So the Alter Rebbe asked the question that it should say Chaste Hashem Kilei Tomu. The Nun is totally unnecessary. Alter Rebbe says, no, Chaste Havaya Kilei Tamlu doesn't mean that the Eibishter's kindness doesn't finish. Chaste Havaya. When do you need Chaste Bligavul? Kilei Tamnu, because we're not Tmimim. Stays the word. Pirush lefi shalei tamnu, because we're not perfect. She'ein anu tmimim u'shleimim. We're not perfect and whole and peaceful. But lishum chetven u'pagam b'nefesh, without any sin or blemish in the soul. Or be'eil musayenim in the higher world. I'm going to propose that chet is mitzvah saseh and pagam is leis saseh. Okay, therefore, tzichamanu lesnaik b'chaste havaya. For us, it's not enough. The shiur of tzedakah, which is called chesed eilah, but you have to have bli shiur, which is the inyan from bli gavul of the person. Shein bli gavul v'tachas is beyond the measure, beyond the limit, and beyond the purpose. Kedei that aleinu that Eibush should evoke upon us racham and v'chazli love, compassion and supernal kindness. Shurav chesed, which is infinite kindness. V'racham and bli gavul v'tachas, and compassion without a limit and beyond the purpose. Mishakosov, as the pasuk says, kilei chol racham avageimet, the Eibush is rachmanas bli gavul. So the Alter Rebbe started with the Yeres HaKedesh with this question: why does it say Chaste Havaya Kilei Tamnu? It doesn't say Chaste Havaya Kilei Tomu. And he answers that there's two madregas of Chesed, Chesed Eilim and Chesed Havaya. And Tzedakah involves Chesed Havaya. The Rebbe says we can all do Tshuva involves Chesed Havaya, and we can all use the Chesed Havaya as our act of Tshuva. So why do you have to have Chaste Havaya Kilei Tamnu? Because we're not perfect. And now the Alter Rebbe brings two more Mamorei Chazal and explains them. Zeh she'omer Chazal in Yisrael nigolan ela b'tzedakah. The Jewish people are not going to have Geula only through tzedakah. In other words, Yasu Gam, they're going to give tzedakah also if you put in Medina if they have no chiyuv to give tzedakah. The Geula is in from Bligavul, right? And especially according to Rabbi Yeshua, the Benis Nasidin Ligoyel, as opposed to Betishrei Asidin Ligoyel. No. Yeah, Tishrei Asidin Ligoyel is a madrega of tshuva, but you get a Geula lefiyerach tshuva. This Nasidin Ligoyel, the Rebbe says you get more than you deserve. So the idea of Geula is Beligavul, and the Gemara says, of course, Ein Yisrael Nagal a little bit tshuva. Right? Here he says, Ein Yisrael Nagal a little bit tzedakah. So the Alter Rebbe says, what do I mean? What does the Gemara mean when it says Ein Yisrael Nagal a little bit tzedakah? It means tzedakah, which is a madrega of tshuva. If you're giving tzedakah b'medidav akbala, that's not Ein Yisrael Nagal a little bit tzedakah. When you give, anyway, the Gemara says, Etichetayri Yisrael Eisen tshuva miyad ein gola. This is the pshat tzedakah on a level of tshuva. Beligavul tzedakah brings down the beligavul of the Eibishter of Chesed. He concludes, Ein ben David ba v'chulu. Mashiach is not going to come v'chulu. What's chulu? Achatichleb kol pruta mina kis. There won't be any more money in the wallets. So the Alter Rebbe didn't want to write negative words, so he wrote only v'chulu. And the pshat is that people are going to give tzedakah even if they don't have, and even if they're not mechuyev.
What about?
And this act of tshuva is going to bring Mashiach. In this week's parsha, last week's parsha, Kilei yecht alev yemekerav haaretz. Look at the Rishonim. Some say in the times of Moshe and Yeshua there were no aniyim, but since that time they're always going to be.
What about Shlomo last time?
Upon him, according to some Mepharshim, only by Moshe. This state in the Rishonim. I probably gave a shia last week on it. But okay, please. The Rebbe says, how can you have machlokes and mitzias? So the Rebbe says that the Rebbe Eliezer says, "B'tishrei yasid in the goal," because he says Mashiach is not going to come for free; it's going to be through avodah of tshuva. And Rabbi Yeshua doesn't disagree. He says, of course, Mashiach is going to come through avodah of tshuva, but Hashem is not just going to give us what we earned; He's going to give us more. Taste.